In a world that's increasingly bizarre, one question remains. What's really going on? Join us on The Daily Absurd as we delve into the strange corners of reality, exploring the stories that make you scratch your head and say, is this real life?
All right, so picture this. You're rolling up to the Wendy's drive-thru late night.
Oh, yeah.
Got that frosty craving.
The frosty craving.
And bam!
Oh.
An alligator comes flying through the window.
What?
I know, right? Crazy. But this is what we're diving into today.
Okay.
It's a classic Florida man story.
Yeah.
But we're going deeper than just the headline. We've got 3 news articles.
Interesting.
We're going to try to piece together like a timeline,
Right.
figure out what could make someone do something like this.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Huh?
You know, it really goes beyond just like the typical Florida man thing.
Right.
Like there are legal parts to this, but also, why are we so obsessed with Florida and these crazy stories?
It's like its own genre.
It really is.
So, okay, before we get into all that, let's lay out the facts.
Right.
Our main character, I guess you could call him that, is Joshua James,
Okay.
early 20s, from Jupiter, Florida.
Right.
And October 11th, 2015, he decides to share an alligator,
Oh, boy.
a 3.5-foot alligator.
Well.
With the folks at Wendy's?
Not a good idea.
No, not at all. Luckily, no one was hurt.
That's good.
Gator was captured, safely released by Florida Fish and Wildlife.
Okay.
But here's where things get kind of messy.
Oh.
When you look at the articles, the timeline gets a little fuzzy.
Oh, really?
So Time says the arrest was February of the next year.
Mm.
Fox News says the day after the incident.
Okay.
And then WBRZ reports the arrest was June 2018.
Wow. So all over the place.
Yeah, it really makes you think about how much you can trust just one source.
It definitely does. Like you always have to think about, could this be wrong?
Exactly.
Could there be more to this story?
Multiple perspectives are important.
Yeah.
But even with the timeline being wonky, the fact remains an alligator was launched into a Wendy's.
Right.
So help me out here. What on earth possesses someone to think that's a good idea?
Well, okay, so according to WBRZ, at Simust, James told the officials he just found the alligator on the side of the road,
Okay.
and it's a casual Tuesday.
Just hanging out.
But later he admits to throwing it.
He confessed.
This is according to Fox News,
Uh-huh.
and then his mother chimes in.
Oh, boy.
This is in an interview with Time.
Oh, okay.
Calls it a stupid prank.
A prank with an
They
alligator.
have a live alligator?
I mean, I've done some dumb stuff, but that's next level.
Yeah, like what was the goal? What was he thinking?
Right. Like, what's the end game here?
Was it a prank gone wrong?
Maybe?
Or did he just want the attention?
Oh, that's a good point.
Like nowadays, people do crazy things to go viral.
That's true.
And Florida Man itself, maybe that's part of the problem.
Oh, yeah, like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly.
So we've got a weird incident, a timeline that's all over the place.
Yeah?
And this whole Florida man thing looming over it.
It's a lot.
Where does the law even come into play here? What are we looking at?
Okay, so legally speaking,
Yeah.
Time and Fox News both report aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Okay.
But Fox News adds that it was without intent to kill. Then there's charges for messing with the alligator, illegally killing, possessing, capturing,
Right.
and a petty theft charge, probably about the drink he got before the,
Before the show.
before the main event.
So not just the gator.
Not just the gator.
He's in some real trouble, though.
Oh, yeah, he's in hot water for sure.
But it gets weirder.
Oh, there's more.
The court orders are wild.
Let's hear it.
No going to any Wendy's,
Okay.
limited animal contact, except for his mom's dog,
Right.
mandatory mental health evaluation,
Interesting.
and no weapons allowed.
So they're really covering all the bases.
Yeah, like, is that normal for a case like this?
It's definitely noteworthy.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you think, why go to those lengths?
Yeah.
It seems like they're really trying to understand the why behind all of this.
Yeah, like, is this just a prankster, or is there something more serious going on?
Right, and I think the no Wendy's order, that's pretty unusual, but makes sense in this case.
Yeah, stay away from the scene of the crime, so to speak.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
And limiting animal contact, that could be a sign they're worried about his judgment.
Like, he might pull another stunt.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
And the mental health evaluation, that's definitely interesting.
That seems like a big clue that they see something deeper going on.
It could be part of a legal strategy.
Yeah.
Show the court he's taking it seriously.
Like he's remorseful.
Exactly. Or maybe they're trying to get a lighter sentence because of mental health reasons.
But it could also be genuine concern, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That they actually want to help him.
It's a good reminder that the legal system isn't always about punishment.
Right. Sometimes it's about rehabilitation.
Exactly, trying to figure out what went wrong and how to prevent it from happening again.
It makes you wonder, though, does throwing an alligator through a drive-thru automatically make you a Florida man?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like, is it a title you earn?
Well, the whole Florida man thing,
Yeah.
it's not just a funny meme, you know?
All right, it's like a cultural phenomenon.
It really is.
Yeah.
And part of it has to do with Florida's laws about public records.
Like, anyone can access police reports and stuff.
Yeah, so the media gets all these crazy stories.
So more transparency, more Florida man stories.
Basically. But it's not just about access to information.
Right. There has to be something else going on.
It's also about our fascination with the weird stuff, the stereotypes we have about Florida.
Like the heat, the alligators, the
Yeah.
feeling that anything can happen there.
Exactly. And you mix that with easy access to these wild stories, and you've got the perfect recipe for Florida man.
It's like this weird combination of real events and how the media portrays them.
And it creates this larger-than-life persona.
But does that persona then influence people's behavior?
Oh, that's a great point. Like, does it become a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yeah, like maybe people see all these Florida man stories and think, oh, I can do that too.
It's a real possibility. And that can have real-world consequences. You know,
Like people getting hurt or legal trouble.
it can shape how people view Florida, attract people who want to live up to the stereotype.
And maybe even affect how the courts handle these cases.
It's a fascinating and complicated issue.
So in a way, each new Florida man story adds fuel to the fire.
It reinforces the image.
It makes you wonder, did that play a role in Joshua James's case?
Like, was he consciously or subconsciously playing into this Florida man script?
Did he create the stereotype or was he influenced by it?
It's a bit of a chicken or egg situation.
It's both, right?
It's not just about one person. It's about the stories we tell ourselves as a society.
And how those stories can affect what people do.
It's this crazy feedback loop. But let's step back for a second.
Okay.
We've talked about the incident, the timeline, the Florida man thing, the legal stuff.
It's been a lot.
What does this all mean for the listener, though?
Right, what's the takeaway here? Why should anyone care about an alligator in a drive-thru?
Well, it might seem like a crazy isolated thing.
Yeah.
But it actually tells us some important stuff.
Like what?
First, don't believe everything you read.
Oh, media literacy.
Exactly. One news source might not have the whole story.
You gotta dig deeper.
Look for inconsistencies, get different perspectives.
Especially with those eye-catching headlines.
Yeah, there's usually more to it than you see at first glance.
So be a savvy news consumer.
Exactly.
Right.
Especially these days when information spreads so fast.
It's a good reminder.
And this incident also shows how messy things can get.
How so?
When you mix crime, the media, and our culture,
Okay.
how a story is presented,
Mhm.
how it's reported, that affects how the public sees it.
And that can even influence the legal side of things?
The Florida man thing is the perfect example.
Right. It's like this narrative that takes on a life of its own.
Even though it's based on real events,
Mm-hmm.
it can change how we see reality.
So it's not just the facts, but the stories we tell about those facts.
Exactly. And one more thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes even the wildest stories can reveal bigger issues in society,
Okay.
like the need for attention, wanting to go viral, the lines between reality and online life getting blurry.
That's all happening right now.
It is. We're all
Yeah.
dealing with that in this digital world.
So this Florida man story is actually pretty deep.
It makes you think about human behavior in the digital age.
What if this had happened today with social media everywhere?
That's a great point. This was 2015, before TikTok and all that.
Right.
Imagine if someone had filmed it and posted it online. It would have gone viral instantly.
Would that have made things worse?
Maybe.
Mm.
Would James have played into it, become some kind of internet celebrity?
It's possible. We see it all the time.
People doing crazy things for likes and followers.
And that can be dangerous.
It really can. It makes you wonder about the responsibility of these social media companies.
Are they encouraging this kind of behavior?
And what about the long-term effects on our culture? Our attention spans our sense of reality.
It's kind of scary to think about.
It is. So we started with a Florida man and an alligator.
And now we're talking about the media, the law, internet fame, the digital world.
This deep dive shows that even the weirdest stories can lead to important conversations.
It's a reminder to always look deeper.
But we're not done yet. There's more to uncover in this Florida man saga.
So, okay, we know throwing a gator through the drive-thru is a no-go.
Definitely not recommended.
Bad for you, bad for the alligator. But did anything change after this?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, did Wendy's beef up security? Are there alligator-proof windows now?
You know, I haven't seen any reports about Wendy's changing their policies.
But I bet they thought about it.
Oh, I'm sure this incident made them think twice about drive-thru safety.
No kidding. It's not your everyday hazard.
Not usually in the employee handbook.
And what about Joshua James? What happened to him? Did he get that viral fame?
It doesn't look like it. He kind of disappeared after the court stuff.
No internet glory.
Nope. Just a criminal record and probably banned from Wendy's forever.
Ouch. Maybe that's worse than jail.
Could be. But it does make you think
About what?
how this would have played out today with social media and everything.
Oh, yeah. This was 2015. Things were different then.
Totally. Someone would have filmed it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Instant TikTok viral sensation.
Would people have thought it was funny?
Some probably would. But it could have made things worse for him, too.
Like a mob mentality.
Yeah. Would he have played into it? Become some kind of ironic hero?
The alligator bandit.
It's scary to think about how quickly things can blow up online.
The hashtags would have been wild.
Hashtag Gatorgate, hashtag drive-thru don't, hashtag Florida man strikes again.
It's funny, but also kind of terrifying.
Totally. It makes you wonder about these social media companies.
Like, are they responsible for encouraging this kind of stuff?
And what does it do to our culture in the long run?
Our attention spans, what we think is real or fake.
It's a lot to unpack.
We started with an alligator in a drive-thru, and now we're talking about, like, the future of society.
It's all connected. It shows how even the weirdest stories can make us think about bigger issues.
So what's the takeaway here? What have we learned from this wild ride?
I think it's a reminder to be critical for you. Think for yourself. Don't just accept everything you see online.
Do your own research.
Exactly. And pay attention to how the media shapes our view of things.
Like the Florida man thing.
It's all about how we understand the world, the real world and the online world.
It's a lot more complicated than we think.
It really is.
Well, this has been quite a deep dive.
We went deep.
We started with a simple question and ended up in some pretty deep waters.
Oh, that's what we do.
That's the fun of it, uncovering the hidden layers.
Exactly. It's a reminder to always be curious, ask questions, and never underestimate a good story.
Even a story about an alligator in a Wendy's drive-thru.
Even that. So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
And watch out for alligators.
Thanks for listening to The Daily Absurd. If you enjoyed the ride, make sure to like, subscribe, and share the absurdity. See you next time.